In a previous video, I mentioned that in algebra we don't always try to solve an equation. Sometimes we try to simplify an expression. So this is an algebraic expression, and each of these are called terms, and we combine the like terms so that the terms. So beginning with this problem, I can see that 2x to the first power and 6x to the first power, those two can be combined. Usually people don't put the 1 for the first power. X is x to the first power, but I did just to let you know. So I'll be combining the 2x and the 6x. There's also negative 5 here. Well, minus 5 and minus 8 here. Those can be combined. 4x squared cannot be combined with anything because it's x to the second power and nothing else is x to the second power. So my first step in combining, I want to remind you that what I do with negative numbers is important, will be important as we go along. But with a minus 5, I'm going to change it to plus a negative 5. And if you know me, you know I'm always talking about that. It's much easier to add negative numbers than it is to keep track of the subtractions. And so here there's a minus 8. I change to plus a negative 8. It doesn't affect the values or anything. It just, for me, it makes it easier to work with. You will see when we do distribution that changing those will help. So I did that first. Now in the third step of this process, I've moved the 6x over to be next to the 2x because I'm adding those together. I brought the negative 5 and the negative 8 together, and then the 4x squared is over here. And in fact, so then I moved the 4x squared to the bottom here as the first term of the simplified version. Then I added the 2x and the 6x to be 8x, 4x squared plus 8x. And then I went ahead and showed you how I work with negative numbers. A lot of times you can just look at a negative 5 and a negative 8, negative 5 and negative 8, and just realize that you're going further into the negative when you combine them or add them. So, but this is using the number line, and we start at 0, and I went to negative 5. Then I added another negative 8, means going further to the left, to negative 13. So my answer is plus a negative 13. You know, it's okay to write just minus 13 there, but this is the way I roll. It's a good habit to get into because we're going to get into distribution right now. Okay, so this is when you simplify terms. Okay. To simplify terms, sometimes a term can be a multiplication. Like in this case, this is one term. It's 4 times x plus 1. And so in order to simplify this, we have to distribute the 4 and get rid of the parentheses. We want to get rid of the parentheses. So what we do is we multiply the 4 times the x, and we multiply the 4 times the 1. And so then I get 5x plus 4x plus 4, combine the 5x and the 4x because they're like terms. They're both the same variable and to the same power of 1. so they can become 9x plus 4. I used distributing in order to simplify this algebraic expression. In this next problem, I'll show you why I do what I do with the negatives, why I change negatives to positives, why I change the minus to plus a negative. It just works out better. If you try to do this without changing your minus to plus a negative, it's up to you. I find it's frustrating. So here we have 5x minus 5 times 2x minus 3. I'm going to distribute I've changed it to 5x plus a negative 5 times 2x plus a negative 3. So again, here I changed the minus 3 to plus a negative 3. This helps me. So then I distribute negative 5 times 2x. A negative times a positive gives us a negative 10x. Okay. Then negative 5 times a negative 3. A negative times a negative is a positive, so then I have plus 15. So at this point I have 5x plus a negative 10x plus 15, and 5x plus negative 10x is negative 5x plus 15. So again, I distributed the negative. That's important in simplifying algebraic problems. Here's one more example of using of simplifying the negative, simplifying the algebraic expression. I'm going to simplify this algebraic expression using spreading out the negative influence. They call this distributing the negative influence. And I'll tell you what I do. First of all, it helps me a lot. If there's just a negative sitting there, in this case a minus, if there's just a negative, anything can be multiplied by 1, so it helps me to change this to negative 1. And a little parenthesis helps me to negative 1. And then I distribute the negative this way. Negative 1 times 5x equals 5x. Okay. Then negative 1 times 3 equals a negative 3. So here I put plus a negative 3. Now here I've got, again, I had a minus sign here. I hate that minus sign. Much better to change it to plus a negative. And I changed it to plus a negative, and I put in a 1 because I like that. It helps me. So plus a negative 1 times 4x minus 6. So what I did here, I didn't change the minus like I would usually do, but it works anyway. It would be changed to plus a negative 6. So negative 1 times 4x gives me negative 4x. Negative 1, and this would be times negative 6 plus a negative equals negative times a negative is a positive 6, and that's plus a positive 6. So now I've reached this level. Now I can combine the terms. And notice how I work in steps and I write things down. I don't try to jump ahead and do any steps in my head. I like to write them out. Negative 5x plus negative 3 plus negative 4x plus 6. I'm going to combine, I can combine the negative 5x with the negative 4x as I do here, and the negative 3 plus 6. So I have negative 5x plus negative 4x gives me negative 9x. A negative 3 plus 6 gives me positive 3. So we simplified this expression, algebraic expression, by distributing the negative. They call it the negative influence. It's like the bad kid in the neighborhood. By distributing the negative influence, we simplified it to negative 9x plus 3. So you can see that it's in working with simplifying and using distributive method helps to simplify algebraic expressions. Okay. This is one more example of the use of distribution to simplify an algebraic expression. Don't be thrown off by that little mark is just a stray mark. This is 4x minus 3 times x plus 9 plus 15. So we have to distribute the negative 3 across here. First of all, like I always do, I will change it to, it's a minus 3 here. I changed the minus to plus a negative. It's my favorite thing to do. I dream about it at night. So I changed the minus 3 to plus negative 3. Now I distribute the negative 3. Negative 3 times x gives me negative 3x. Negative 3 times 9 gives me plus negative 27 plus 15. Okay, and then so I can combine a 4x plus negative 3x gives me 1x, or x. Oftentimes we leave the 1 off, but x plus negative 27 plus 15. And you can use the 3-step process to do this, but I went ahead and just did the number line for the heck of it. So I started out at negative 27 and I added 15, so I went to the right 15, and I think I did it correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I may have done it wrong. It might be negative 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It is negative 12. So my final answer, negative 27 plus 15 is negative 12. X plus negative 12. So remember, when we're simplifying an algebraic expression, we're not trying to solve it. We're trying to boil it down to something manageable. X plus a negative 12 is where I would leave it. Some people might just change it to x minus 12. That works too. Okay, thank you.